We'll see. Hello, everybody. Good evening. How are you? Happy Sunday. I hope everybody is doing well. Couple reminders. One, if you are doing the 90-day run, your form is due tonight, so don't forget to get that in. We only have like less than 15 days, right? We finish this month. Right. We finish this month, so make sure you get it in. And tomorrow, everybody say tomorrow. If you can, please be on Bob's part 2 call and come with something to the call, okay? Whether that is a post that you've been wanting to post, but either fear has held you back, you don't know how to say it, you don't know what to say, whether it's a conversation that you need to have with somebody, bring something to the call because I'm doing a coaching with him. I just started last week and I actually got on one of his calls on Friday, and it was so cool to see this happen in real life. So bring something to the call, okay? Please, please, please. I don't want it to just be like we're all staring at each other, okay? We want to come prepared, and that way he can make the most of his time and we can make the most of his time, all right? So that is tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. So let's dive in. Make sure you watch part 1 of his call so that you understand for part 2. Okay. So we're going to dive in. And tonight's topic is the truth will set you free. Okay. The truth will set you free. And tonight's training is probably going to be the most vulnerable training that I have done in a long time, because I think a lot of us, as we've been working on this becoming ourselves love led, we are realizing that we have spent years editing ourselves and fixing ourselves, whether it's editing your thoughts through ChatGPT or somebody else, or editing your struggles, or editing your emotions, or editing your truth, whatever it is. Not because we were fake, right? We're not fake, okay? But because somewhere along the way we learned, if I look strong, if I look successful, if I look positive, if I look confident, if I look put together, people will respond better, right? Have any of you ever thought that? Okay. I know I've thought that, right? We've all thought that at some time or another. But I was on a call with Bob, and he asked me, and he said, Ashley, what are 2 things that you're struggling with right now? And I told him, and he's like, does your team know that? And I was like, well, no. And he's like, well, why not? And I'm like, well, I'm afraid if blah, 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 blah. And he's like, there you go. There goes your fear talking. Okay. What if the very thing that people actually are looking for is the truth? That's what they're looking for. It's the truth. And I think that is one of the biggest things that God is doing in each of us in this season is he's teaching us on how to stop hiding behind performance and results and start living in honesty and truthfulness. Okay? So, we're going to talk about this tonight. So, my first point tonight is that fear makes you edit yourself. One thing that Bob said to me, and it hit me really hard, was he said, fear is still your source. Fear is still your source. Some of you, like I said last week, some of you have asked me, hey, is this look love led? Don't ask me that. You are love led. If you have to ask me that, guess what that's telling you? Fear is still the source. Love has to be the source. And fear shows up in ways that y'all aren't even realizing. I'm still catching myself, right? Fear sounds like, what if people judge me? What if this reel flops? What if this post, what if this post flops? What if I sound dumb? What if I disappoint people? What if nobody interacts with me? What if they don't join me? What if they don't buy from me? What if I lose momentum? What if people think I'm failing? And because of that fear, we edit ourselves. I bet all of you can say, yep, I've thought all of those things, or I've wondered at least one of those things. What we do, myself included, is we start to water down our truth. We start to post what performs instead of what's real. We hide struggles. We fake confidence. We over polish everything. We become a brand instead of human. Okay. And eventually, you don't even know who you are online anymore because fear will always make you perform. But love is what gives you permission to tell the truth. And the truth is, people connect deeper with honesty than they do perfection every single day of the week. They do. Okay. I think for me, one of my, and y'all, here I am, I'm being real honest, right? One of my biggest fears has been when Bob asked me, he's like, Ashley, does your team know that you're struggling with this? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, why not? I'm like, well, what if they think that I'm failing? And he was like, well, do you think any of them think that they're failing? I'm like, well, I'm sure some of them do. I've had conversations where some of them think that they're failing. You guys are not alone. I'm going to be very honest right now, okay? My paychecks back in 2023 were over 20 grand a month. And in the last year, is it still super blessed? God's still doing abundantly what I could imagine? Yes, but it's cut more than half. So I say that to let you know that you are not alone. Every single one of us goes through highs and lows in this business. But that's a fear that I've had of myself to tell you guys that because I don't want y'all thinking, oh, well, Ashley's struggling, so I got to struggle, right? That's my mindset. That's that fear talking. But when I say that, some of you are probably like, okay, good. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one struggling, right? I'm not the only one worried about what other people are going to think. That's that fear talking. Okay, but we water it down. The second point is this: your truth creates safety for other people. Do you know why honest posts hit differently? Because it makes people feel less alone. For example, the other week, I think I talked about this last week. I posted that reel of me literally, I put my phone up and I'm crying my eyeballs out about Case falling down the stairs, busting his face, all the things. Yeah, that video has like 25,000 views. I'm like, what? Why? Because it's relatable. You have no clue how many people flooded my inbox. Ashley, you're a great mom. Ashley, I feel this way. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I know what that trauma feels like. Yes, I know what that guilt feels like. Right? Makes people feel less alone. My infertility journey. Do you know how many people I've had to come across where people are like, oh, thank God you know what it's like. Oh my goodness. Do you know what those needles, they're so big. How did you put it in your booty? How did you put it in your stomach? Because it makes people feel less alone. Maybe you share a hard flare up that you're having with your sickness or a mental health day with the loss of a loved one that you're struggling with. Okay. Maybe it's a healing journey that you're going through. Maybe it's a business transition season. Okay. Maybe you're feeling disconnected from some old friends or some old environments. Those posts, they matter because people see themselves in those posts. And that's what we want people to do. When you are telling the truth, you give permission for other people to stop pretending to. And honestly, some of you are carrying things that your audience desperately needs to hear. You're carrying it. You're carrying your testimony. You're carrying your healing. You're carrying your anxiety story. You're carrying your rebuilding season. Hello, that's me. You're carrying your marriage situation. You're carrying your marriage restoration. You're carrying a motherhood journey. You're carrying a breastfeeding journey. You're carrying a confidence journey. You're carrying a financial breakthrough. The list goes on and on and on. But fear keeps telling you, don't share that. That's too much. Nobody cares. People will judge you. Meanwhile, God may be asking you to use the exact same thing that you are hiding so that you can help somebody else. That's what he loves to do, right? He loves to use things that we go through to help other people. You don't need to just dump all of your trauma online. That's not what I'm saying. You don't need to be giving them all the details. Oh, my husband today, I about blasted him out. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But what I am saying is that people trust when you are honest, when you are truthful. And when I was on a call, and Bob might point this out tomorrow, but I was on a call with Bob on Friday, and this girl was wanting to share a post. And basically, she wanted to share about what was the beginning of it? Oh, I know. It was about alcoholism and how she's lost a lot of loved ones to alcoholism. And she wants to encourage people to not drink alcohol all the time because she's lost family, blah, blah, blah. And he got to the root of it and he was like, the moment that you start to encourage people, it's almost like you're letting that fear take over. Like, I've let it, like, I'm going through this situation, but here's the good side of it. But you're not speaking to the truth of what that really caused you. You're just trying to encourage somebody, which, yes, encouragement is great. But when you're trying to be real and raw, people don't, how many of you, I know for me, when I was going through my infertility journey, I hated when people were like, well, in God's timing, you're going to have your baby, right? Well, in God's time, you're going to get that healing. Nobody wants to hear that. Everyone wants to hear, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, the negative tests suck. That's what people want to hear, right? They want that truth and they want that honesty. Yeah, we know it's going to get better one day, but right now it sucks, okay? That's what your network wants. And point number 3 is that often your truth, it builds deeper than a strategy. I think of years that many of us have believed that if we could learn enough strategy, I know we've thought this, that we would finally grow. Oh, if I could just learn how to sell. Oh, if I could just learn how to make that viral video. If I could just learn how to recruit. If I could just learn blah, 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 blah. I'd finally grow. I'd finally be at the rank Ashley's at. I'd finally become director. But what if growth actually just comes from alignment? What if people can feel that disconnection that you're feeling? What if they can feel that desperation? What if they feel that insecurity that you're feeling? What if they are feeling that validation? What if they are feeling that performance? Even if the strategy sounds good, but what if people can feel what you're feeling? They feel that peace. They feel that confidence. They feel that integrity. They feel that authenticity. They feel your love. They feel your service. People may come to you for products, but they stay because they trust you. And trust is built when our outside matches your inside. If people can't trust you, they are not going to stay around. And that's why I always say your network, if you're doing 8 million different network marketing companies, they don't know what the heck you're doing. They're confused. They're like, well, does she like pharmacy products? Does she like this company's products? Does she like this? Does she like that? Does she like, and a confused mind does not buy. I always say, if you have a compensation plan that pays you and products that you love and a website that works, stay at it. Stay at it. People need to trust you. That's why these people that jump around to 8 million companies, they're like, oh, tomorrow I'm selling pharmacy and the next month I'm selling this company. And I'm like, your network doesn't know if you're coming or you're going. They don't know what to believe. Pick one thing, put your head down, and go with it. In my 8 years, I have never, ever, 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 ever seen a millionaire in this industry working 2 businesses. Never. 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 Okay? So put your head down and keep going. All right? People have got to trust you. And trust is built by your authenticity. That's why this love-led shift is so much deeper than content. It's who you are. It's your identity. And honestly, that's why for some of you, it feels uncomfortable because we're not just learning new posts, we're learning a new way to be. Okay? Now, you may say, all right, Ashley, this is fine and dandy. But what does this actually look like? What does sharing my truth really look like online? Truth does not mean that you have to overshare every detail of your life. Please do not. Okay? Truth means that you stop filtering yourself through fear. If you feel called to share something because you know that someone else can relate to it, you share it and you don't let fear take over. Example, my motherhood post the other day. Motherhood has stretched me emotionally this week. I about lost it. Something like that. Okay. I'm learning to build this business differently right now. I used to think success meant that I had to prove myself. I've struggled with confidence too. This business helped me stay home with my babies. Sorry, hold on now. I'll mute Utah now. There we go. Okay. I'm still growing too. I don't have it figured out. Those are some love led. You are love led, you guys. People trust your consistency over your perfection every single day. And honestly, some of the most powerful content that you will ever create will be the most non-polished. And I have seen some of you be like, I just threw this together and look, it's got 30,000 views or it's got 1,000 views or whatever it is. Why? Because it was honest. You didn't sit there and overthink it. And I'm going to say this very carefully because I feel this very deeply right now. But some of you have spent years trying to earn love and acceptance through performance. Performance in your life, performance in your ministry, performance in motherhood, performance in leadership, performance in church, performance in business. But God has never asked you to perform for love. You already have it. You already have it. And when you finally understand that, you're going to stop building from fear of not being enough or fear of not hitting that result and just in the love of who you are. And I think many of us are learning this in this season. I think we all are, myself included. And over the last few weeks, as I've adopted this love led process, I have learned that I can be ambitious without letting fear be my driver. I can build big without losing myself. I can pursue my goals. I can pursue Tahoe. I can pursue my financial goals. I can pursue growth. But your identity cannot be attached to the outcome because it's momentary when that is. And honestly, I think that that's a lot of freedom for many of you tonight. Because when your worth is no longer tied to numbers, rank, engagement, titles, promotions, recognition, whatever, you finally become safe to lead people well. Because you're not focused on a momentary accomplishment. Okay? So, this week, my challenge for you is one, be on Bob's call tomorrow if you can, and bring something you've been wanting to share. What is that truth that you've been wanting to share, but you're scared to share it? Or you don't know how to say it? Or maybe there's a conversation you've been wanting to have, but you haven't had it. Bring it to the call tomorrow night because I really want you to be able to see what Bob can help you unfold in this. Okay. As we work towards this week, and tomorrow's call will be great because this will help you with this. Okay. But after tomorrow's call, I want you to share one honest truth post this week. One honest truth post. And I want you to have one vulnerable conversation. And when you're doing these things, you need to ask yourself, am I hiding or am I connecting? And I really, truly believe that some of you are about to experience freedom in your business like never before, and like in your leadership in all areas of life, because you're going to stop letting fear control you and you're going to step into who you are, which is love in Christ. You are love led. Don't let fear take over. Okay? So that is my challenge for the week for you guys. And again, be on tomorrow night's call if you can. It's going to be super powerful. And I think we're going to start having some aha moments with this truth post, because I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm being truthful. But then underneath that, there's a piece of fear that we're not seeing. Okay. So super excited about it. I'm excited to see you guys continue to be love led and to see what this looks like in each of your businesses. So we will see you guys tomorrow night. I love you guys, bunches and bunches. And we will see y'all tomorrow. Okay. Bye, y'all.